Welcome everyone, my name is Comet, and today I have for you the beautiful male finally hitting the Summoner's Rift. And in this video I'm gonna show you everything that you need to know about this character. So let's begin, because trust me, there's gonna be some interactions that you really want to see where you're gonna be like, what the fuck? She really do that? Yes, this is actually a very straightforward champion, but it does have very powerful abilities. So let's begin. First off, with her passive. Her passive has two effects. Number one, every time that you do damage to your opponent, you are gonna be applying one mark of your passive. And this can be applied, to multiple targets. And each target will have a different number of passive, as you guys can see. Now, these are marks like if you were a Smolder, a Nasus, or a Veigar, with the difference of the fact that these are temporary, one mark, and eventually it can run off. But if you continue attacking, you are going to be able to continue stacking these marks, over and over and over again. And the more stacks you have, the more damage your ultimate is gonna do. Because your ultimate, what it does is it activates every single one of the stacks that you have on the target, and it does damage, depending on how many stacks you have, as you guys can see. Now, it is very important to note that your ultimate will not deplete the stacks. It simply applies damage based on them. However, if you continue applying stacks over and over and over again until you reach a certain threshold, you are actually going to be able to execute your target. Let me show you. As you guys can see, we're getting close to execute range. Now if I use my ultimate, boom! It's going to die instantly, doesn't matter where it is. And in fact, even if I'm in top lane, let me put a ward over here so you guys can see it. Even if I'm in top lane, let me apply many stacks. Now, let me run to the other side of the map. Let me go actually onto bot lane, so you guys can see. I can still use my ultimate, as long as this thing has stacks. Let me show you. I'm gonna attack. I'm gonna apply stacks. Now let me go to the other side of the map. And ult. You guys see this? So even if I'm at the other side of the map, I can still use my ultimate. It doesn't matter. In fact, let's go to the extreme case, I'm gonna be at my base. And I'm gonna put an opponent at the other side of the map. This is something that a lot of you might want to see, because this is gonna be very important, for team fights especially. So let me put right here an opponent, and I'm gonna be applying marks to this. Is now getting marks. I'm gonna teleport into my base and ult. You can still ult no matter the distance of where you are, So the marks on themselves are global. However, unlike Veigar or unlike Smolder or any of these characters, they are temporary. Meaning that if you actually let them run off, they will disappear, and you will have to apply them from the very beginning, that you guys can see. Now, you do not need to use your ultimate to execute. In fact, you can actually execute with anything, with an abilities, with an auto attack. It doesn't matter what you're doing, even with an item. As long as you do damage to the target and it is in a threshold of execute, it will die. Let me show you. I'm gonna auto attack. Boom, baby. That is the execute even with an auto attack. So it is important to apply these stacks. And to help you apply these stacks, we have the second effect of your passive, which is every time that you use an ability, instead of launching one projectile with the auto attack, you're gonna be launching 3 extra projectile per ability used. Let me show you. I'm gonna send my E. Boom, auto attack. E. Multiple projectiles, right? And you can stack up to 9 projectiles at the same time. Let me show you. 1, 2, 3. because each ability will give you 3 projectiles. So now we have 10. Your auto attack plus 9 projectiles, and each and one of them, like you guys can see over here, will apply your passive. So this is something like a battle mage to a point where you want to get in, you know, use your abilities, then use your abilities again, and the more abilities you use, you know, the more projectiles you're gonna have. And eventually, you're gonna be with a massive amount of stacks, which will make executing them quite easily. Now, the Aeon itself, honestly, nothing special. We have seen this before. It's a ball of light. Anivia has one, Aurelion Sol had one in the past. You simply launch it, and if they hit in the center part, they get rooted. If they don't, they get slowed. Nothing out of the ordinary, you know, this is simply a root. But every time you spam your abilities, you get extra projectiles, and now you guys can see, this is how you actually get to stack more and more stack of your passive. And eventually, when your damage gets so high, you can even execute it at a very high range, like you guys can see over here. In fact, let me allow the dummies to fully heal. That way you can see how hard the execute is, because it is pretty insane, like you guys can see. As long as he has abilities, you can execute it almost at full HP. This is very important, especially against compositions where you have a healer constantly feeding into, let's say, Endolaf or something like that, you know. They will not be able to continue attacking you as long as you continue attacking them. So it really is something like a battle mage. Now let me allow it to fully heal. Let's see if we can actually execute it at max HP. I'm actually very intrigued about this. Like you guys can see, we can already execute at half HP. So that's pretty insane. Now we're getting close. At some point, just launching one E is gonna execute. Look at this. Let's continue stacking. And we can continue stacking non-stop, like I mentioned. Shit, almost full HP. Let's see how far we can push it. This is very important in teamfights, you know. If you have like a dive composition, like a Malphite, like a Olaf that wants to run at you, like a Rel, for example, an Alistar, this hard counters them. And as a mid laner, we needed something like this. We really needed something like this. This is just for science. Almost full HP. 1, 2. It's already at the close range. Look. 1, 2. Ooh. 1. We're getting close. I think when I get to 100, I'm gonna be able to put it 100. Now, can I execute it with just one E now? Oh, close. Oh, only one auto attack and it's already in range. This is insane, man. Look at this. One auto attack and it's in range. That means that the more that you fight them... Oh, in fact, did you guys see that? It was in range at full HP. So you need a lot of stacks for this, but you can definitely one-shot them at full HP, man. That's actually something cool. Now, when you execute them, it will consume the stack that you have. Oh, this is cool. So, keep in mind that these are temporary. So, if you stop attacking them, the marks will row. They will just disappear, right? Now, let's go into the Q, because the Q is also something that will help you stack your passive much easily. Your Q will launch a lot of projectiles onto the target, like you guys can see. This will allow you to get into a high number of stacks very quickly, especially if you combine, you know, with your other abilities. You can get to a very high number like it's nothing. Just like that. So this is something that you really want to use in teamfights and skirmishes, because they will simply die. They will die to you. Now, the marks on themselves, they scale with the damage that you do, so keep that in mind. Building raw AP is going to be very important. But aside from this, there's no any more interaction that is worth mentioning. Her Q, however, it is not like Kai'Sa. It is actually a skill shot. Look at this. It simply launches a lot of projectiles, but it will allow you to stack your passive. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that her cooldowns are extremely long. Her shield, which is what most people were talking about, is actually on a 31-second cooldown. And unlike what people might think of, it does not work against a turret. Now, it will block a bit of damage because after all it is a shield, but it will not reflect. Let me show you. You see, it will only reflect target projectiles, but it will have a bit of damage reduction against anything else. Let me show you with the dragon. If I protect myself, I don't receive damage. Like you guys can see. If I protect, I don't receive damage, right? However, like you guys can see, it does not send back the projectiles. Because only like the reflection only works against the champion's projectiles. So now you have Mel, this is a character that it's gonna be like a battle mage. In your face, stack as many of these passives, try to kite, I think, and then execute, with your ultimate. Boom. Simple as that. It's very simple character, actually, with very powerful. I think you can do a lot with this character. I don't think she's gonna be grain breaking. Her shield is kinda dogshit because 31-second cooldown. What I really think is gonna be important with this character is the passive. Like, the passive is fucking broken. Like, you guys see, like, this is just insane. Like, look, it's still already in execute range. Boom, baby. I healed. Let me put it again. Execute range. Yeah. And the best part is that it works against both targets. So if both targets have passives, you can actually execute them both, like if it was Karthus. Let me show you. Boom. And just like that, this is Mel. Very simple character. I think the model is gorgeous. I really like it. I think it's one of the best designs in terms of female characters they have released. I personally, but that's just my personal opinion. What do you guys think about Mel? Do you think she's gonna really be OP? Like, I really like how everyone was, making so much noise about her shield. But honestly, I think the passive is truly gonna be the main attraction in an actual game. Yes, you are gonna be able to deflect a Sejuani ult here and there, but the passive, man, like, if you want to stack it as much as possible, you're gonna just straight up win any duel, because there's nothing they can do against this. But that's it for me. In terms of the build on itself, we need to wait a bit, to see what the best pro players are building with her. But I'm definitely gonna keep an eye on that because I'm a mid laner main, and I always like to research, analyze, and see what the pros are doing. Mostly I tend to watch Faker and Chovy because they tend to have a wide variety of champions played almost always. But let's see, let's see what other people, what the pros are using. And when we have more information, I'm gonna bring you a guide on how to build Mel. But I can already see more or less what you want to build on her, honestly. I think it's gonna depend on how you wanna play her. If it's gonna be more like a Hui, you can go with your standard tier build or Blackfire Torch build, but I'm actually intrigued about the potential Nashor Tooth, or maybe Lich Bane. Because this way you're gonna be able to apply your passive a lot more. Like, this is really where I think she's gonna excel, man. Like, just look at this. It is so easy to apply her passive. So let's see, however, what the pros do. For now, though, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm gonna leave the episode right here. Hope you guys enjoyed this. My name is Comet, and I'm signing out. Peace.